So I don't know how much of the project you get, um, but basically, I know you've seen the UI. The idea is kind of a carousel of images here where we can just kind of grab from title images. Uh, button to create recipe, search input, a go button, and then this would be return results. So the title image, title, then descriptions. From there, you click a description, the title, the image, the description image, the ability to start, and then the description. So, and then from there, you move on to each step. Each step would be broken down. They don't overflow. I mean, the whole goal is to avoid any scrolling. And then all the buttons are big enough to be, hit with your knuckle. Because you're kneading bread, the last thing you want to do is take your nasty hands and start pushing all over your phone. It would be cool in the future to incorporate this in React Native or Flutter or something so that you could keep the screen alive. That I just haven't found a good solution for that, using a web app. And then to kind of simulate the button being pushed and the modal being open. So the idea is you'll be able to grab all the ingredients, or all the ingredients here, or just the ingredients for that step. So that's kind of how it's broken down. And if you look at models, they correlate to steps applied to, or ingredients applied to a step, and then we can grab all ingredients. Sorry, I'm feeling better, but my cough and my voice is going away. So that should cover the overview. There you go.
So the only thing I would ask is, say you have a lot of ingredients for this step, would you need that to actually scale with the amount of ingredients that are being returned here? Or how would you avoid scrolling if there was overflow?
I think any ingredients, I don't know if there's going to be a way to avoid that. What we could do is possibly add a button and hide these. Next page, do like pagination on this. Or on ingredients, just scroll. I don't know if there's going to be a way around that. Ingredients might just have to scroll. But I'm not sure. That's definitely something, as we get to that point, I think we should see what we can come up with.
Okay.
Unless you have an idea right now, I am always open to ideas.
Well, I'm not usually involved on the design side, so seeing this in its infancy, that would be something I would ask. Either if the list of ingredients was too long, having those buttons just beneath them, or the image ingredients and all ingredients, maybe have it shrink to a acceptable size that would still allow them to be hit with a knuckle or with the back of the hand on a phone screen, but allow for the viewing of all the ingredients.
I love that.
Or maybe even just have it extend upward so that title and step got smaller.
I really like that. I'm not a designer. First and foremost, I am far from a designer. I really like that as an idea. I think we might do that. So you want to set up the Express app?
So is Express already...
Oh, no.
Okay, so you have the server.js.
Let me start up a terminal, and I will get dependencies for you real quick. Express. Should have grouped this. I'm going to add yarn. I'm going to add body parser. And this is that package I was telling you about. So when you send a body, body parser is what actually helps you parse out the body from the request object. Without it, you won't be able to do rec.body. So if you want to bring in Express and body parser, you just require both of them.
Okay. Spelling is important.
I wouldn't survive without spell check on these. I hit so many keys when I'm typing. And then body parser, you can just bring it in as however how you normally spell, but it's and then the dependency name is going to be body hyphen parser.
Gotcha. Here we're doing
And a port.
Listen to that port.
So you're getting a little ahead of yourself. I'm going to help you out here while you're working there. That's where we're doing a live share. And then this is what I was talking about, how to use a middleware.
Gotcha.
So yeah, well, so we're just we can just say app.use, which is referencing the systems. I know Express is not familiar to you, so no worries on my end, and I'm looking forward to maybe one day coding this out in like C# or something, and then I can be in the other end of the C here. I've never written anything in C#, so.
So the funny thing is, a lot of the middleware logic is the same. So utilizing and leveraging cores and so the cross domain and telling it, that the application is going to utilize this body parser and JSON. There's something similar for .NET inherently, so you can deserialize JSON.
Oh, cool.
With one of the libraries that's inherent for, I think it was 6 that brought it in, but it was definitely one of the more interesting things that I was like, I didn't know you could do that. So,
so I just
I'm glad you knew about body parser and how to get all this to go. Oh, go ahead.
I just added node long. So, we never did npm in it. We run it right now. Much better. And we still got all our I should have saved this as a dev dependency. That's okay. This it'll work. So I'm gonna do server node long server.js, and this will just be so node long is like a hot refresh. It just kind of keeps track of if any changes are made, it'll reset the browser. Okay, so we should all be good here. Should be able to yarn server on the command. There we go. We are running on port 5001, so we have to call back. That's got our basic Express setup. Now we'll move on to let's add some routes. So I don't know. Hopefully you can see these new folders I'm building here. We're going to make this one. We're going to call it our recipe router. Alright, then for now, if you want to just watch, I'll start coding this out and kind of walking through this. So I'm going to bring in Express again. I'm going to bring in Express here. And that's going to be require Express. We need to bring, we're going to, actually, this we're going to create an instance. So, recipe router, and it's going to be express.router. So that'll bring in our instance of the recipe router. Then we can do recipe router dot route. In this case, we're just going to go to the beginning of this route. Throw get on here. It's going to be async. Eventually, it's going to be async. Not quite yet, but it will be here shortly. As soon as we get Sequelize pulled in, it'll be an asynchronous call. And we're going to bring in our request and our response. And in this case, let's just do it with dot send get request on bam. Copy this over. But this is going to be part of our title routes. Oh, that's not supposed to be put. It's supposed to be post. Post. Now I'm going to throw a cut right here. We will do a cut. Okay, so that should have all that we can. I don't know if there's a point in testing that yet. We still need to come back to our server.js, and we need to import our recipe router.
Those routes.
So now that we have that in, we will add this as well as a middleware, kind of. So anything on /recipe is going to use recipe router. So, make sure we got the all the things are set here. I don't know if you can see that error. Oh.
Type errors.
I think I told you this the other day that I do this every time.
Yeah, you'd actually done that before we built any of the routes last time, just to make sure.
I'm good at it. I like it. There we go. Much better. All right. So let's see if we can.
And awesome.
Okay, so we should be able to try the get, post, and put. Just make sure those are working. Okay, so I already have all these set up.
So
This is going to be our get. We should see get request on slash. Then we had a put, which is going to be this. You can ignore all the body here. This is just, I pre-saved all this on Postman, so it's a little easier to do. And then our put is going to be get on /. We get our put request. Awesome. So all of those are working. The next thing we need to do. Well, I've been kind of not keeping up with our little thing bar here. Is move on to Sequelize. So, have you ever used Sequelize in JavaScript before yet?
I had not used SQLite prior to messing with this application. It was my first time seeing it, and I had no idea what I was messing with.
Awesome. Well, let's go a little further. So I'm going to use SQLite 3. I'm going to add it. And then we're going to need to add Sequelize, which is the ORM for working with SQL. Okay, so on our Sequelize, we need to bring in Sequelize. And it's going to be require, rather can use it, Sequelize. That's it. So now we're going to make an instance of it. It's going to be equal to a new Sequelize. And here we're going to name it. We're going to take in a username. In this case, I'm just passing user. In this case, we're taking password. I'm going to pass password because we're not connecting to a real database. Well, I mean, we are, but it's going to be a local one. So there's going to be no user and password. And then right here, we're going to take in an object parameter. We're going to tell their dialect. And this is where if you're connecting like Postgres or anything like that, and you actually have like a username or a password, that's you swap all this out. In this case, host. It's going to be, I want it to be in this directory. And we're going to save in recipes.sqlite. Okay, so that's all we need in our database.js file. But we do need to come over to our server. And we're going to bring in that instance that we just created. Can I? Hold on. I did it again. We need to export it first.
Now, will this create something with that file extension, the .sqlite?
Correct. So,
Gotcha.
So now that we've got our database set up over here, you're not familiar with SQLite, are you? Or SQLite as in Node or Express. Okay. So now that we got it set up over there, we are going to bring in what we exported out of our database. Make sure that I exported it. Okay, so now that that's there, we can call it the sync up, which will essentially, when it starts, it'll look at all your models, and if it needs to build the tables, it'll build the tables right here, which is nice. So if you make a change to the models, delete your SQL table, and then restart it, and it will auto-generate all the tables from the models, which we'll get to the models in just a second. And this is a callback when it's done. So, if everything is correct here, which I think it is, we should be able to run our yarn server command. And there it is. So we've got DB is ready.
Nice.
I believe if we actually look here, yep, you can see we've got a SQL database here now called recipes.sqlite, which is a reference to here. And it's, you can see it's in our directory, same directory. So we'll tell them to pull it in this directory. All right, the next thing is to start building all our models.
Alright, so without the models currently in existence, did it just create the database open with no tables?
Correct. Correct. There's nothing in the database right now. And then models are a really nice way if you want to work with SQL in JavaScript. So I'm just going to make this new folder. Call it models. New file here, we'll call it ingredients. And then maybe I'll code out some of this and then I'll let you try it out on the next model. We feel up with the way these kind of work.
Alright.
So I'm going to bring in model and data types. We're going to bring that in. Great. Bring that in from Sequelize. Then we need our instance of our Sequelize table, or database we just made. In this case, it's going to be, we have to inherit from the model. So ingredients, it's going to extend model. That. Right here, so we can make our first part of our table. So we'll have an ID. And it's going to type. This is where we're going to use that data types integer. So these are the optional parameters you pass to it. So in this case, we'll call it primary key. It's going to be true. And then we'll just make this auto increment true as well. There. So if you're familiar with SQL, this probably looks pretty familiar. We're just going to call it integer. We're going to make the primary key and auto increment, but we're going to write it in a JavaScript way. Next one is going to be your step number. Type. Repeating pattern here real quick. So that's all we need to do for the step number. Comma. I'm just going to copy down. So I have the title. I might have too many. Yeah. Okay. So this will be our ingredient. Okay. That's all we need there. Since this one's not going to be an integer, you can probably guess what we're going to put here. Okay. Then we can chain an optional object on here. Pass it a reference to Sequelize. And we can actually, we'll say our model name is going to be called ingredients. So if I remember right, this is the table name right here. It's going to actually name it off this right here. And it pluralizes it, but this one's going to be plural.
Nice.
So there is actually a way to prevent it from pluralizing it. Off the tip of my head, I can't remember, but I ran into a big fight with that. I was working with existing tables and I had to connect to them. And it was, I had to dig through the Sequelize documentation. I don't wish that upon anybody. It's the most like if you're a beginner, that documentation is just, it's hard. Okay, so that should have our entire model on ingredients done. Now we're going to the next one, which is going to be steps. I'll let you take over on that one. If you need to reference the other model, you can Can you click tabs to reference the ingredients?
Yeah, I can click tabs.
Okay. If not, I can kind of look at it. So he's going to bring model and data types, deconstruct.
I didn't know if when I clicked on the tab.
Go for it. Click on it. Find out what happens. Let's just try, maybe I'm wrong on the way it was supposed to work there. But let's just try building a post request. We'll start with the post request in a router here. And then we'll build a GET request and then we can test it. So, one of the first things we need to do is we need to bring in all of our models. Am I in the right spot here?
Yes.
You get to watch me like fumble through typing.
It is fine. I'm sitting here going, should I be typing? Should I just watching? Yeah.
Yeah. You want to take over? Let me know. Here.
Oh, no, you're good. Because I don't think that my keyboard hotkeys will actually filter through.
Hmm. Let me try. We can type at the same time, play with it, see what it does. Let's work through that and break it. No, we're not going to need this off yet. No, we don't need it. So we don't need any of that yet. Okay. So our post
See if it worked.
Does it work?
Yeah, I can use commands to actually do like comment out and comment back in. So awesome.
So I know we're going to bring in an offer body. So we're going to bring in a title and description. And this is going to come from rect body, which if anybody's not clear, doing this is the same title, rect body title. So I'm just deconstructing out of the body there. Like I said, as we start adding more, this kind of helps keep all that clean. And then let's go to try statement. I think this might be a little much. So this is going to return back an object. And any of that object is going to be data values. That's how it's actually going to return what we're working with. What I'm doing is I'm going to deconstruct that from our statement. So this is actually where we're going to do our SQL statement. We're going to create. In this, we're going to pass it a title and a description. And what this is looking for is this is an object. We're just passing it a plain Jane JavaScript object. Just so happens that our names line up with our model names. So if we want to give the title a new value, we could simply do that. As long as we give it an object with a property So the object name's title, and then the property. You follow that?
Yep.
And you're familiar with the shorthand. This is shorthand for that.
Right.
Okay, so I'm missing a bracket somewhere. What am I missing?
Let's see. There's
Oh,
closing.
catch statement. And this way, in case I'm gonna write send, error.message. And if we get back that ID, set up status 200, res.send, success, inserted at ID. So this will return, we're going to deconstruct ID from data values, because it gives you a return. And that will be our insert statement. So up here, let's go to our get. We'll build our get, which is going to be pretty simple. Let's just get all the titles. Wait, titles find all. We're not going to pass any parameters in here. You can't pass optional parameters such as where. You can pass where there. We don't. In this case, we're just going to grab every item in the titles. So status 200 again. Send, pass it, titles. I probably should change the status code here, but I have not. Maybe we can. Maybe that can be something someone can make a pull request for.
Yeah, because normally for a new instance creation, isn't it? It's 201. So if they want to do a pull request for making that 201 that a new instance was created,
We
I have to reference. I always have to Google and reference status codes.
Found it. We have a typo. It's better. It's good. That one looks good. I don't remember who wrote this. Was this my fault?
I think you had ingredients that had steps, but I mean,
That was my fault. Right?
typo is a typo.
Oh no, I'll own it. I am totally cool with it.
At least it wasn't the one that you control C to generate the other one.
I have no shame. There we go. See that beautiful thing right there in the console?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. So it just created all of the tables for us.
Nice. Oh.
The documentation may not be fun, but Sequelize is definitely the thing to do. All right, let's try. Let's try it. See what happens.
Okay. And then the software you're testing it in is separate from Visual Studio Code Postman.
So we're gonna make a new post request. Everything's set here. Let's do descriptions, slows, notes, all that. Good enough. Send it over. We got our success. I'm going to return the ID it was sent at. And show the titles. Get all titles. And we've got our ID. And this is another feature of Sequelize I didn't mention. Created that and updated that is automatically generated. You can, at optional parameter, turn this off, turn off timestamps, but it's going to auto-generate timestamps. which really is pretty nice. So that finishes up our put and our post request on, I'm not sorry, not put, our post and get requests on titles. Now we can do our put request. So without Multer, I'm not sure how great this is going to go, but we're going to try it. So in our body, we're going to pull out our title, our description again, and our ID. Pull that from our rec.body. And then what I did, and this is kind of how I did it here, pull out the new title, pull in the object, type right. And then out of here, I'm going to do kind of a complicated deconstruction here again. Remember I said if you actually find titles, or if you pull from Sequelize, you get back an object called data values. You get back a bunch of other information. Maybe at some point we'll console log the whole thing out so you can see it. This is going to be a way. This is where we're found the find or the where function. We're going to find one where ID. So where our ID equals ID is what we're going to be looking at. And I'll explain kind of why I did this right here in a second. You'll maybe that'll make sense after that. So if there's a title, new title, machine title, bullet SQL, is going to equal the title we sent over. If there was a description, thing, let's do new title. Description is going to equal description. Should have been new title. So this is kind of running on the premise that if we're going to update this, maybe we're just going to update the title, and we're not going to update the description. So I'm running it this way so that if you only have one, we don't change all of it. So at this point, we should be able to do it all ways. Titles, update. We're going to pass it here, spread out, new title. Spread that out here. We're going to update it where our ID. Do our res. I think this should be a try statement. So this says 200, res.send. Let's just discuss. And if it fails, this will send error message. So we can now give this a try. So this should all work. May bring Postman back up again. We're going to shut Postman back up. Go to edit title. This time we're going to go back to raw, JSON, and it's going to look for an ID. I'm going to give it a question number. Let's just pass it a title. Call it old or update. Let's just check it one more time. We've got it here. It's just called pulled pork. We'll set it on a put request to the same endpoint. We got success. Okay, let's try getting all the titles again and see if we change that. Pulled
There
pork
goes.
updated. Finally. Finally. Now let's try.
Just updating the description.
Description. Yep, I'll try updating the description. Let's see how that works. Making people feel good about themselves is what I'm really good at. Here we go. Updated description. All right. Now it is all working. At least in this sense, we've got a get, we've got a post, and we've got our put request. Awesome. Again, and we start a new route, steps, /title ID. And then this title ID correctly correlates to here. We're going to grab it from the param object. We're going to get, post, and a put. They're all blank except for the get, starting to fill out. So we want to get our steps based off the title ID. Because if we look at our steps, they all have the title ID. So this is kind of how we can correlate this table and how those steps in this table correlate to a recipe. So now we can do our steps, find all, where title ID. So wherever the title ID matches, so if they're all for 1, we're going to grab all the ones for 1. And then we need to do the same thing here, because we need to find the ingredients. So at this point, we will have all the steps that apply to that title and all the ingredients that apply to that title. And if we remember, go back to this, we can tell the ingredients also they apply to a certain step. So what we'll be able to do is grab them all at once and just return them all as one. That way we're not making a bunch of server calls. All this works. So stats 200 again. Let's send back an object with our steps and our ingredients. Salt catches on fire. Gotta catch it. We'll send back our error.message. Awesome. Alright, else we're gonna post to this thing.
I was going to say, do you have anything for that?
Oh, of course I do. But I feel like with everything going on with this NyQuil and chicken on TikTok, I don't want to tell anybody about how much I enjoy my NyQuil when I'm sick.
So I am one of those fogies. I don't know many trends from TikTok.
You're better off.
As many as my wife sends me.
I only found out about it from Twitter. People were talking about it. Apparently they're trying to cook chicken in NyQuil. Which personally I find abominable because NyQuil, obviously I'm not abusing anything. I only drink it when I'm sick. But I love my NyQuil because when you feel sick, NyQuil is going to make you feel better. But when you boil it, you're cooking off all the alcohol. That is absolutely wrong. You ruined it.
And you're just leaving that awful tasting sugary concoction that's not going to be good with chicken. Why? Why are people doing this?
I don't know, and I hope people stop. Okay, so here's where we're going to grab that title ID again, and grab it again one more time. Good sign. We go into our try statement. So we're going to post again. what did I do? An open bracket. Steps now create. So let's create a step. That's a title ID. Pass it a title. Instruction. Step number. That should be it for steps. Then, so here's where things get a little tricky because our ingredients aren't going to be one. Each ingredient is going to be its own entry in the table. So, because of that, say, for ingredient of our ingredients. So we're going to parse it out into an actual JavaScript array. So it's going to accept an array. For each one of those, we're going to create a new ingredient. For ingredient, pass the step number, and a title ID. So as long as we pass an array for our ingredients, each one is just going to go through this for loop and create a new entry. Each entry will be linked by the title ID and step number. Make sense?
It does, but for here, could you leverage, say, in SQL, you can create an ingredients table and then have a where it does not exist or where it exists, so you're not getting duplicate insertions. Is there any way to leverage that same logic here in SQLite? Because I have a feeling that depending on how many recipes you put in, I know a lot of things call for tomatoes, diced or chopped, or however you put your tomatoes in, that would be.
You're talking about associating it with multiple entries, or have one entry that associates with multiple IDs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so instead of having step 1 of recipe 1 have the ingredients tomato, and then step 15 of recipe 5 have ingredients tomatoes, it would be figuring out how to logically have that on the table once, but have it coincide with different step numbers to the different recipes.
Oh.
So I would have instantiated, say, for SQL itself to just kind of normalize the data, have a bridge table for ingredients, since multiple things could use the same ingredients.
That is something I do not know. And I will be happy to, if you can find it out, or if I can kind of read about it and figure it out. I am all game. Okay, so that should have our post request. We've only got 10 minutes left, so I'm going to do really, really quick here. So then I figure after this, we'll call it a day. I guess I never thought about the way you're doing that. That would be a much more efficient way of doing it.
And that was one of the things for, the relational tables, was having those single instances of something on the table so that you weren't creating those duplicate.
Mm-hmm. I've never claimed to be a SQL guy. And it might depends. I wish I knew more about it. I just, time and trying to figure out where to focus my energy learning.
You've got a position at work that I would think would hold most of your focus. That shorter learning should be in what you're using day to day.
I'm afraid that's too true.
I'm one of those people. I can kind of, and I'm really bad about this, but I try not to spread out my learning. I'm trying to focus so that I can get good at something to get a job. And then I can worry about expanding my learning later.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. So this wants to move there. Our title ID and our step number. We want both of those to match. If we have a title, we have an instruction. I think it's my dog getting impatient. That's the 90-pound puppy.
Goodness.
She's like a bulldozer. And they're incredibly.
Does she lap dog too?
Do what?
So does she lap dog too?
Kind of, not really. But she's not quite aware of her size yet. So she will jump on you and knock the kids right over. And I don't know if you've ever been around in Newfoundland, but they're kind of doofy. They're very doofy. They're the sweetest dogs ever. They wouldn't harm a soul, but they're tough fun. Okay, so here's where things get a little bit interesting on how I'm handling the put request on the steps. So I'm actually going to destroy all of them, the ingredients, and then recreate them if we have new ingredients sent. So if we're gonna add new ingredients for that step, we need to delete all the old ingredients and then re-update them. It's kind of how I handled it. So I feel like there could be a better way to do this. Like I said, I didn't put a ton of time into all this. Sure, it could be optimized a lot, but I don't have a great way to optimize this on my own. And in this case, we're going to do.
Oh, we're just leaving it open for pull requests to optimize and make things better.
Absolutely. I mean, truth is, the name of the game is getting a product down. Luckily for me, everything I work on is access to our local internet, so nothing gets pushed out onto like customer-facing stuff. I do have a lot of people who get very upset if I take things down and destroy things, but everything's hosted on our own server through PM2. So I just keep a default copy of like what works, and then I deploy my new one, and if it breaks, I just revert back. I'm like, sorry guys, I broke it. But the old version is back up and running again.
That is awesome. That is actually very awesome.
It's pretty fun. Okay, so where title ID again and step. Okay. That works. Let's do our res dot send. Res dot. Why is that true? This can be something here to do, but we're getting better bit by bit. I think the hardest thing is it's one thing to make a video on your own, it's a whole other thing to coordinate with someone else and do it. But that creates a whole new level of complexity. You have an idea of what you want to do, but okay. So I think that's got all this covered. We can try to add a step.
Okay, so we had an error here where we had JSON.parse. It turns out we do not need to parse that. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I also removed it from our put statement as well, if we have any ingredients. So let's head over to Postman and let's test out if we can add a step. Okay, so our step is going to consist of a title, an instruction, a step number, and ingredients are going to be an array. We also have the title ID is being passed here as a param. And we can see that directly correlates to our route we come up here and we see our title ID here. We're grabbing out of the URL. Okay, let's test that out. Let's add a step. We got our success. Let's view our step. So we're going to view, we want step 1, or for title, we want all the steps for anything with the title ID of 1. And we've got this back, our ID of 1. It's the only entry in there, applies to title ID 1. And then our step is what we sent over, apply dry rub, and we also grabbed all the ingredients, which we have our first ingredient is olive oil. It applies to step number 1. And our second ingredient, which applies to step number 1, is dry rub. Perfect. Now let's edit our step. So here I'm just going to try editing just the title. We don't need an instruction. And we can just test that we can edit the title. Okay, let's view our steps again, and we should see something about updated. And here we go. Apply dry rub, updated. All that is working. Next, we're going to move on to the rest of our routes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do, we're going to want to be able to search our routes. We're actually going to want to search our database. So let's start with searching for keywords. So let's create a recipe router .get or recipe router .route. And this is going to be, we're going to call this search keywords, search title / let's grab our keywords out of it. That's going to be a get. So what we're saying is we want to search by title. We want to search by title. And then we're going to pass the keywords that we want to search by. And again, this is going to be an async. Take in rec, res. And we want to get our keywords. Should be coming from rec.params. Now we have our keywords coming in. Now let's open up a try statement. Save any future problems. I'm just going to have the catch now. Go ahead and finish up the catch. So we'll just res.send error.message. And inside of here, let's grab our titles. We're going to do const titles equals await titles dot find all, where title. Now this is where things get a little different. We can do operations with Sequelize. So we're going to do our op for operations dot like. And we want to grab anything. Let's do a string literal. Just say keywords. So if we pass this pork, we want to find anything that has pork in it. That's kind of what this means. I highly recommend looking into the documentation of Sequelize a little more. And this should also look very familiar, a period there, to standard SQL, where you're going to use a like statement. You can find things matching at the end. You can even use rejects in certain parts of it. Pretty handy. Okay, this is all good. Let's set our res.status to 200. And then we'll just do a res.send. We'll just send back all the titles that match. I have an error here. Probably don't have this formatted right somewhere. That might make it happy. There we go. Okay, and while we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and do our next one, which is going to be pretty darn identical. just going to copy and paste this over here. Let's change title to descriptions. We still use keywords. And then down here, we just want to change this title to description. And we'll send back, let's change this. Yeah, we're going to send back all the titles. Okay, let's test this out here in a second. Actually, before we go over to Postman, we need to bring in one more thing. Let's bring in op. Require, and it's going to come in from Sequelize. Okay, now let's head over to Postman. Well, let's see what we get. So we're searching on recipe, search, title, and then the keyword we're going to search for is going to be pork. And we pulled pork, slow smoke. That's exactly what we wanted. So if we put, let's just say, apple, we bring back an empty array. Exactly what we want. Okay. So let's come over here to our search descriptions, recipe search descriptions, and let's say, let's try apple again. Should return an empty array. We got an empty array. Let's try the word smoked. Found smoked here and returned this title. So those are all working. That finishes up. Let's check it for now. I believe that finishes up all our routes for this week. It certainly does. So we have our search. What we don't have, come over to titles, you can see we have an image. Same thing with steps. We have an image, but nothing is being put there. So this next time around, we are going to introduce Multer. And that will be how we handle grabbing files and uploading them. We're just going to host them locally right here in the same root folder. And thanks so much for watching.